it's Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and welcome to the Kawaii Elephant. Listen, we're going to be doing this really fun, cute, adorable elephant that's blowing rainbow bubbles in a rainbow puddle today. This is a really fun episode. I'm going to explain every step of it, and you're going to be able to do it. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I think you should hang in. So, are you ready to do this with me? I'm ready to share this fabulous, art project with you today. I want to say hi to everybody who's come to the live show. How are you guys doing? Thank you for coming to the live show. And if you're coming for the replay, hang in because we have a lot of fun. And you're going to get a painting that you're really excited about having done by the end of this. So it's completely worth hanging in. So hi to both groups of people. I'm so happy. I know some of my light keepers are here and some of my breakfast club is here today. So I'm excited to see everybody. Most important bit of information, look at my sippy sippy. Today's sippy sippy. I'm going to come to the close-up cam so they can see the marble.
Okay, 1 second here. Whoop, come on.
Well, no, not.
There.
So
bubble.
can you guys see my marble?
I can see the marble.
Can you see the marble? I love, look, it's chemicals. Chemicals, but it's a lot of fun. The point is, if you're new to the show, is you should always have something special in your creative space because your creative time matters and it is special. And having a tea that you like or a drink that you like or an adult sippy sippy that you like can make this a little more sacred, a little more important. Your time, your time matters.
We had, this is so nice.
It's so nice.
There's so many people out here.
So many people? How many people?
Oh gosh, we've got like, I think there's a grip of them for sure.
A grip of the people have come to the live show. And I wonder if we have any little brushes painting with us today.
I'll have to check.
We should, while we're letting everyone check in, we should go over what we have for materials.
Okay.
So listen, yes, you guys can do this on paper. You know, paper just tends to wrinkle. But if I can suggest, these are 8x10 canvas pack. It's a value pack. It comes out to about $1 a little canvas. So it's not really expensive. And you get a lot of paintings out of the pack. And then you can just pop them in a frame. It's a hardboard with a coating on it. You can even like write information about things. Like here's a great place. Look at all the wishes you could put back here. Because we put wishes on our canvas. If you're very new to Heart Party, if you haven't been here before, we like to put little wishes on our canvas or on the backs of our canvases to send out good energy into the world because that's super important. And we need to do a belated happy birthday, Donna. So everybody give Donna a belated happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Donna.
We needed that because I think we missed that yesterday.
Yes.
Do we have any wishes for our canvas?
Oh my gosh, there are so many wishes today, but I am just scattered back here. I knew we had some good feedback from our wishes last time.
We got some, the little boy made it home safely.
He did.
So we're very happy that wish came true. We've had some employment happen and come through, and we've had some good health results. And I know we had someone wishing for a good result on a blood sugar test.
Yeah, that's right. We had someone who had some pre-diabetes concern. I'm gonna have to
and so we're going to say that a total. I think that I know who that is. So,
you do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, because you have to.
So I'm gonna, because this is going to be such a thin light painting. On this one, I'm gonna do my wishes on the back.
Oh, okay.
Or they'll come through too much. Oh wow, maybe I'm not.
Okay, hold on. I'll help you. Hold on a second.
I just need a pencil. It's fine. It's fine. I got it.
She says, "Get back in your chair."
And I'm just wishing that your blood sugar in general is just balanced. I'm going to wish for you life balance inside your body.
Yes.
So we can do that. And I also, you know what, I've had a lot of people writing in about bullying. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to wish for a young girl that, you know, she's feeling validated and strong in the face of that. She realizes that's them and not her. And just a general peace among our little brushes. Because I really, really am anti-bullying. I think it's a very, very pointless cause. I understand that we can all get in pain. I understand we can all get angry. but it's really, really important that we just remain kind to each other, because making someone else feel bad will never make you feel better. It just won't.
And Kim is having oral surgery as well.
Oh, that's right. Kim is having oral surgery. Hey, Kim. Okay, this is a hard one for me because I'm scared to death of my dentist, but I'm going to wish you the best, most peaceful oral surgery you can have. Which would be really, I wish you on a beach somewhere and not an oral surgery. Best, most...
Cindy had a great one for some just general health and wellness and wisdom for all of us.
Yeah,
and
health, wellness, and wisdom. These things they're important. If you're a little brush and you don't know what we're doing and you're like, why are you doing this? Just get to the painting. Here's why you hang in. Go ahead and test one of these. If you have a wish that you have for school or you have a wish that you have for yourself, go ahead and start putting it places. Put it on the back of your canvas. Sometimes it's hard to remember that we deserve our hopes and dreams.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is about, guys. So if you're new to this and you're young, you're like, what is the wishing nonsense? That's what it's about. And let's be honest, don't you kind of sometimes throw a coin in a wishing well? I mean, you got to have a little hope.
Yep.
Wishing is about making sure we stay tapped into our hope. Tools. We got our canvas. If you guys can get watercolor pencils. Now, they have really inexpensive one at Michael's. These are the Artist Loft watercolor pencils. I got the smallest pack. I just needed a variety of colors. I'm using pink. You could also use, like, if you needed to, kids chalk. And yes, you can use a pencil, but here's the trouble the pencil will cause you. The graphite can bleed through the paint. And this is a very soft pastel painting, so that would bother us. I've got a ruler, and I've got acrylic paint.
You do?
I do. I'm using really good acrylic paint today, but listen, the best paint, whatever paint that you can get, is the great paint. That's what I want you to stay settled in. Don't be like, oh, I need better paint. When you can afford better paint, when it comes into your life, that's the right time for it to be there. Until then, enjoy the art along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have very specific colors, but guess what? Their counterparts, just regular, will work too.
Really?
I have titanium white, but on this project, white will work okay. I have Cad Red medium hue, and especially with kids, I use hue because you can't, if you eat, I don't know why any kid would eat the paint, but if they ate the paint, it would make them sick.
Now, someone had just asked about that, about the hue, and they said, let me go back to that real quick, because it was, what is the difference between hue and not hue?
The difference between hue and not hue is there really is some more visual pop to real cadmium. But hue is cadmium is obviously, nickel, cadmium, and batteries. Not good to eat, can cause cancer. In large quantities can be bad for the environment. So if those are concerns that you have, you can get the hue and you save a little money.
Huh.
So phthalo blue, but just blue will also work, guys. Dioxazine purple, but purple will also work. And cad yellow medium in the hue. Again, because this is if you're painting with kids, you definitely want to do hue. Though I've never just seen a kid eat paint.
Mm-hmm.
And kids everywhere are going, that's right, I wouldn't eat paint. Because you guys are smart. You wouldn't eat paint.
Just
I don't know why everyone's
paint.
worried about you eating paint. I don't eat paint. You don't eat paint. None of us are eating paint. But there's a warning if you were to eat paint. And I'm using acrylic brushes. Brushes for acrylic painting with synthetic fibers. Now, I have Power Acryls, but Simply Simmons or any brands of brushes, as long as they're made for acrylic, because they'll be a little stiffer and they'll have a synthetic fiber and they'll hold up a little better. That's going to be simple, okay? Now I've got a ruler, and that helps me measure things out when I'm drawing this in, and I'm going to make sure that I've got my up close cam, which we sometimes also like to call the nausea cam.
Because it loves to not focus on blank white. It's because it's on blank white canvas. So,
okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So I might move this up a little bit so it's not in my way, though I could put this down if I wanted to really hold my... This is an old character easel. So we need to make a horizon line for this, and something that we can do is we can use our ruler to make sure we have a level line. So I'm going to come up, here's some math for you kids, 2¼ inches. I'm going to make a little mark. Come over here and find 2¼ inches and make a little mark. I can put my ruler across here. Now I know I'm level. It's important to have a level horizon line, and I'm going to draw a nice soft light pink line across. Now watercolor pencil will tend to disappear into the paint, but it's still important to keep the line from being too dark so it doesn't really show through, though, even though the water will take it away. Once I have that, right, I know that I want at least a couple, like a little bit of room from the bottom of my canvas. So I'm going to make a little mark just so I remember not to draw too much past that. Sometimes what can happen is when you're a new artist, you can draw really past something before you're, and feel like your whole drawing is ruined, and it's not. So if you can give yourself like a little break warning, little line here, say, I got to keep it above this. Whatever I'm doing, I should keep it above that. That can help you. I'm also going to include a traceable right after this lesson posts up of this elephant so that you could trace right onto the canvas, okay? So that's something that you can have. Now over here, take a finger, just a finger, and make a little mark, and that's also a break line. Put your brakes on. You need brakes. And then at the top of the canvas, I'm going to come down 3 fingers and make sure I have a little break line here too. And that lets me know that I need to make sure my elephant fits somewhere in this space, so there's room for my puddle, there's room for my grass, there's room for my sky. And I'm going to draw him dark because you guys need to see him. But you guys don't need to draw him as dark as I'm doing it. And I'm going to make a little circle.
Can you frame up that close-up camera just a little higher so we can see that? Get that whole thing on there? Oh, perfect.
And it's, sometimes it's really hard to make like a perfect little circle. There's a lot of tricks that you can do to make a perfect one. But what I want you guys to witness is how I've got all these little messy lines here, and I'm not freaking out. Number one thing when you're painting with a little brush, or if you are a young person painting or a new artist, you'll see these things and feel like they're mistakes and start to feel really bad, but they're actually just fine. They're okay. And so the thing is, don't quit. Don't throw this and get another canvas. Don't try to erase. Just be like, it's okay. These lines, they're a guide. They're not written in stone. They're just a guide to let me know where my paint stops and starts. And I just need a round shape here. And that's not that big of a deal. Okay, so that's important. And look, my breaks help me stop. I didn't get too much this way, and I didn't get too much down that way. And that really helps me. Now at the top of my elephant, but just if this is the top of him, a little bit down from the top, if I were to go along a clock, this would be like 2 o'clock, wouldn't it, on a clock? If this were 1, there's 2, and there's 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Right about there, I'm going to make a little mark, and that's where I'm going to put in the trunk. And the trunk is a lot of fun because it's going to go up, it's going to curve up, and then it's got a little tip. Right? And again, I'm not too worried about this. And then, can the up-close cam see this okay?
Oh, yeah.
Then it's going to come down a little bump, another little bump. That's very important, the double bump, to saying this is an elephant's nose. And then it's going to curve out, out, out. This is important for him being kawaii. His trunk needs to be a little bit fun and a little bit chubby. Okay? This is watercolor pencil. If I needed to erase it, but I don't want you guys getting into erasing. If I needed to erase it, I could put a little water on a rag and come right here and erase it. I would need to let it dry all the way again before I began to draw again, okay guys? But that's how watercolor pencil can erase if you want to erase some of it before you paint. See how it blends out? And you can kind of see how it would blend out. But don't get into the habit of saying, oh, I made a mistake, I got to redraw it. That is not what you want to do. Now his bottom foot's pretty easy. I'm going to come out a little bit from his belly, make a little guide mark there. And then I'm going to make a little straight line. Just a straight line from the bottom. And it's going to come up, oh, this is, look at this, this is about 1 inch up. So it's like at a right angle. And then it's going to come in. That's his little leg. And because I want a little perspective, I'm going to make a little circle, a squish circle. See how this is a squish circle? If a big circle were round, we just squish this one. And he's going to have a little friend peeking out. Because he's sitting there very happily doing his blowing bubbles thing. Now, coming right up here, there's the trunk. Come over almost the same height. If you look up, make a little mark. So you see I come in, right there. You're going to make a little rise. It's going to come up. It's going to have a little bit of a curve. And this is also going to come down about an inch. And you're going to curve it in like this. And I'm going to make a very important little second line because it makes me happy. Guess what? I need that squish circle again for his little feet. And if you feel you came in too far on the line, you can erase it. Just don't get lost in the erasing. Kids want to get lost in the erasing. Sometimes grown-ups do too. We all get lost in the erasing. Trying to erase that there was ever a mistake. But mistakes are not that big a deal. Getting caught just trying to make them never happen is a big deal, though. The puddle is a lot of fun to do. I'm going to come down from his foot because I want some horizon lines showing. Some grass.
Maybe you zoom out just a touch.
Zoom out just a touch?
Just a touch, just so you can get the full picture in the frame there. Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect.
All right. So this is I'm going to use my horizon line to help me keep a level on. I'm going to come out like about 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to imagine I'm in like a matchbox car. And I'm going to turn and go back in. And then I'm going to turn back out and say, no, I'm going to go out here. And I'm going to turn back. That's all to make the noises. If you don't think the noises help, make them.
Oh,
What's that?
You have to make the noises.
You have to make the noises make the art fun. Come out the back. Now listen, if you're a young at heart person, make the noises too. Everybody make the noises.
Everyone make noises.
Everyone make
Sound
noises.
effects
Not enough
required.
noises in the world. Now I'm driving my car. I'm going to come down like this. And then I'm going to do another one of these little dips. And that is how I create my puddle shape. And if you think of Wow Wow Wubsy, if you guys can remember that, that's a lot of how that artist used lines to tell stories. Guess what else this elephant needs to have, John?
What else?
A tail.
A tail. Oh,
So
that
can we
needs a tail.
see the tail?
See-
I hope you guys like my owl ring. My friend Claire gave that to me, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh yeah, they've been asking to see the ring. There's been a lot. I've been waiting for the sippy sippy. So
All right, I'm going to sippy because we got the tail in, and I'm going to show you guys the ring.
go down to your close-up camera. Oh, okay. You have to back up just a touch. Down. Oh, you have it right there. Look in your. There you go. Oh, see, that's awesome.
That was from Claire. And then this, I got myself, and my son says this is Traptanium
Oh yeah.
for Skylander fans. It's
Traptanium.
Traptanium. And he's always like, can I borrow your Traptanium?
Can we see your nails too? They want to see the nail.
Yeah, just sparkles.
You have to back. Oh, there they go.
There you are. Just sparkles.
They liked the sparkles.
Gotta have sparkles. You gotta have fun. You need a Hello Kitty drink. Chemicals.
Mm-hmm. And then I have the elephant ready to show too. I have it. Oh, there he is.
Awesome. See, so that's how he's gonna be. That's gonna be so fun and simple. That's not hard.
No.
That is not hard, and this is all it takes to draw it in.
See?
You can draw a
It's so
circle and some
close
straight
already.
lines.
So you look there and you see where we're at, the drawing, and then you can see there how close we are.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to paint in the sky. And I'm going to get what's called a bright.
Why is it a bright?
It's a bright because it's a square brush, and I'll do this here. So you guys see this? See how it's got a square shape? Some brushes like this have a round shape. We call those filberts.
That's my favorite brush.
That's John's favorite brush. But this is like about a 1/2 inch bright, medium bristle length. And that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to tell you, here's a trick. Get your brushes wet, everybody. And this is how you're going to hold your brush. Hold your brush in this relaxed grip. If you have trouble with the grip, if you're a very new brush, imagine that you have a robot claw. Grown-ups, this works for you too. Choop, chomp, chomp, chomp it. That's all you got to do. Try to touch the metal of the brush. Don't paint back here. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Find your spot, chomp your brush. Now, rules about paint. Things that you might want to do. You might feel the need to mix all these colors together really fast and just to see what they'll make. And if you really have to do that, what you need to do is ask your mom to give you a plate of paint and to put out some colors. And moms, I wholly suggest this. I do this with my little brushes when I teach a class, is let them just see what it would look like if they mixed all the colors together because they have that need.
Do it at least once.
Get them out. Yeah, just get it out of the way. And if you're feeling like, I just need to see what all the colors will do, it's okay to have a play paint. It's okay to do that. But for this, our rule here is we get our brush wet and we come to the edge. We don't ever scoop. We don't ever do the shovel. We don't scoop from the center of our paint because it'll make a big mess. We pull a little bit out very carefully and get a little bit on our brush, and then we come visit our friend with a little bit. Can we? Yeah. Excellent. So hopefully this is helping you guys. I'm getting just the tip, just the edge of my brush, and this is sometimes kind of fun to see how little you can get, and I'm bringing it over to my white because it doesn't take very much color to change the white. And if you want to have a really light pastel sky, got my chomp, and I'm going to just start painting this in. Now, if you guys have been painting 16 by 20 canvases with me, you may really enjoy these boards because sometimes they have a better surface coating than the canvases. Just saying. And right there, I got to erase the words I started writing, which is why I put my wishes on the back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can write a special message to a best friend, right? I didn't get more blue because it doesn't take a lot of blue to make this light sky. And we want a very, very light sky. And when I'm trying to paint around the elephant, I'm going to use this square brush. And how close can we get up on it so we can really see it?
Yeah, you can zoom in quite a bit more.
Right. So what I want you to see is I'm going to get some of my paint. It's loaded like this. It looks like this on my brush.
Back your hand up just a bit. Oh, there it goes.
See, it's not all the way up into the metal here. It's just halfway. And then I'm going to come along just carefully as I can, painting around the edge. And I can use the edge, that squareness of the brush to get a nice edge, or I can go right on the tip to get a nice edge. These are two ways. If you make a mistake, don't panic. Take a deep breath.
You have to adjust your camera there now.
I've got yellow paint on it.
Oh.
So see, I've got a mistake there. I'm just going to wipe that a little bit with my thing, and I'm going to paint that out. I'm not even going to worry about it.
You have to zoom in there so we can see what you've done there.
Well, yeah. See, I made a boo-boo.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
I got some paint on my owl, and I made a boo-boo. So I'm going to just paint over it a little bit, and I'm going to let it dry, and it will go away. When you make a boo-boo in acrylic paint, it doesn't matter. As soon as it's dry, you can paint it away. Right? This isn't like, you know how when you're taking a test and you're like erasing and the stuff from the test is just stuck there and you can't make it vanish?
Mm-hmm.
Acrylic paint is the opposite of that. You can just make your mistakes vanish, which is why it's so important to just persevere forward. Because you're going to get the biggest growth as an artist by dealing with what's happening on this canvas today.
Oh, yeah.
If you crumple up your artwork every time you feel like you make a mistake, you're never going to grow as an artist. Nobody starts out an advanced beginner. No one starts out an expert when they're also a beginner. I'm sure you have a friend that acts like they're an expert even though they're a beginner. But the truth is we all have to be beginners when we start. Mm-hmm. And we don't start out being an expert, and the only way you can be an expert is by hanging in and persevering.
You know, I'd like to say thank you to the roughly 50 people that we've got out here painting with us.
We have 50 people?
Not quite. We're just a couple short of it. We're like 57.
Wow.
We're hovering right there. But yeah, we've got about 50 people out here consistently hanging out with us. It just jumped up a little bit. Oh, 59 or 49.
Thank you for the shares. Thank you for putting this out there. So we're painting around. We're painting around them and come along this horizon line, and then I'm just going to paint that in. Sometimes if you're using paint that's from like a different kind of brand than one I use, or from those little plops, this can take 2 coats to get the effect you want. That doesn't mean you messed up. It just means that paint needs 2 coats. Don't worry about that.
We like layers though, right?
We like layers in acrylic painting. See how that is? You want to throw up the elephant so they can see what they're working for?
There it is.
That's what you're working for. That's what you're trying for. Okay? Your painting, though, just so you know right now, is not going to look exactly like mine.
You got to get your close-up camera there.
when I do these paintings,
Maybe just zoom out a little bit.
yeah, I just wanted everyone to see how that brush went around
Oh yeah, for sure. That was really
the
good.
edge. When I do these paintings, even though I'm very skilled and have a lot of experience, and I am an expert now in what I'm doing, that'll still all be a little bit different because I'm not trying to create forgeries. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to create paintings. Now the color I'm going to go through the most on this project is going to be white, because we're doing pastel colors, and pastel colors means that they're beautiful bright colors that have had a lot of white added to them, so they have a very soft value. They're very light. There's a fancy word for that. It's called high hat. You just want to give your art teacher some grief.
So Denise was saying that she's awfully afraid. She's only painted with her acrylics once, and she's scared to screw them up, and that's what's stopping her from just going for it.
To screw up her acrylics.
Yeah, she just, she's afraid of screwing up painting with them.
You know,
But you can't, can you?
well, here's the thing. You can't, and you're always going to. So, nobody's goal in painting is to not make any mistakes. That's why Bob kept trying to tell everyone that's just a happy accident, because he was just trying to get you guys to realize that stuff happens along the way, and the painting isn't about making perfect decisions. Even really architectural artists make mistakes. We all do. Paintings all have a weird stage. It's kind of just like, you know what, paint in and the result is the result. But what you want to focus on is, was it fun? Did it feel good? And did you have a good time doing it? And the results will come over time as you do it more and more and more again. We don't play golf because we all get a hole-in-one the first time we go play. People go out and play golf because they like being outside and whacking the ball.
You've never played with your cousin Bob.
He didn't start out that way, and I have a very competitive family.
There's a legend there that may I'm not sure. He may have just started out just being able to knock the ball right into the hole.
Yeah, I know. Everyone in my family tells these stories. My mom does too. And I'm not saying they're not true, but the point is that we don't all start out where we end up. And you got to do something because the act of doing it is just fun. It's just fun to play music. Doesn't mean that you have to be in a big giant touring rock band as a giant rock star. Sometimes just having a guitar with your friends, composing music is the point.
I completely agree with that.
Right? It doesn't have to be your job. It doesn't have to be your life purpose. I swear a lot of times when we have something we're interested in, we have to prove that it has value to the people around us.
Yeah.
Like Honey and her Pokemon cards.
Well, yeah.
Right? She feels like she's got to explain to us why the Pokemon have value, but they just have value because she likes them.
Yeah.
That's where their value is. They make her happy and she likes to look at them. She doesn't have to justify their value past that.
Absolutely. And I feel the same way about music and bands.
Yes.
It back in the 60s and 70s and really up into the 80s, it was really popular for people to have a garage band with their friends.
For just that reason.
Just that reason, because it's really hard to be sad when you're singing. I mean, even if you're sad and you're singing a sad song, I mean, you come out of it generally feeling a little better.
Yes.
So,
it doesn't have to be your future goal. It doesn't have to be your job. You don't have to make money at what you love. That is a lie. You just have to never give up on the things that you love in your life.
Yeah, seriously, look at my truck. I'm never going to be professional at it.
No. John is not going to go have some weird machine shop and be like the
No.
roadkill guys. He might hang out with the roadkill guys if his dreams are realized. But that's not what he's going to do for a living. And sometimes we have jobs or things that we do or goals that are different than our passions. And people will be like, well, how are you going to justify your passion? Passions don't have to be justified. And if you're very young, you might not understand what a passion is, but a passion is whatever makes you forget your troubles.
But passion, that's a word that gets thrown around so easily.
It does get thrown around so easily, but you'll know it when you're in a passion because it'll make you completely forget the things in your life that are troubling you, and it will start to ease your spirit and your heart, and it will begin to make you feel joy and optimism and hope, which is different than a distraction, which just makes you forget things, but you don't walk away from it feeling restored.
And it's uncontrollable. That's what makes it passion.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think it gets dampened a lot. I'm going to pull a little blue out scotch just a smidge. And then I'm going to get a little of my yellow and make a very bright green. This is a very, very bright green. And I'm going to get some white, and that's what makes it pastel.
Is it the Cad Yellow that makes it so pop?
Yeah. But any really good bright yellow will give you some pop. Any good bright yellow will give you some pop. And you definitely want to get your white to get that pastel color in it. And I'm traveling around my puddle using my brush's bright edge to get nice crisp lines.
We have so many wonderful people out in our audience there today.
I wonder how many people are painting with us. Where are you painting with us? And if you are, where are you sharing it? Are you putting it on Twitter?
Yeah.
Are you putting it on Instagram? Is it going to Facebook? Where are you sharing? And if you're a little brush, get your parents' permission to share.
Yes, absolutely.
But I love seeing new brushes, little brushes, and young and heart brushes share what they've got. And let's all be light keepers. Let's all be the people who spread light and spread kindness in our communities. So we're going to say wonderful things about your artwork when you share it. You can count on us being kind.
Oh, and Lindsay just said hello.
Hi, Lindsay. How are you doing? I am having a blast here. If you don't already know, I believe that is the Frugal Crafter.
Mm-hmm. That is indeed.
That is the Frugal Crafter, whom I'm doing a really awesome Christmas collab with on the 18th of December. You have to check out, but you've got to get there earlier because she's starting this month. And she's with So Craftastic and with Steve Ramsey, whom you know I'm crazy about, Do It on a Dime, and Mark Montano, and me. And a whole bunch of people, and she's just got a really great thing planned, and I think there's going to be a lot of really good family projects that come out of that. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to see what she's got going there, and she's very helpful. She's one of my favorite YouTube artists. She's two very talented little crafters who know very much how helpful art can be. And they have a great channel too, the Crafty Twins. They're crafty twins. Though the pumpkin carving thing, I was like imagining Honey the whole time going, oh no. But they handled it.
So it's funny, our little poll came back and we have some people sketching along behind us. So
excellent. Definitely want to see you painting this. So see how that nice pastel gives you that nice green, bright color. Those pastels are powerful. And I'm going to put this brush in water, and I'm going to get, real quick, I'm going to get detail brush. You guys see the detail brush?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we mean by detail. It's just a nice pointed round. This doesn't have to be the best, most expensive brush in the world. You just want it to have this nice point. Okay, there's lots of really good packages of brushes that you can get that will do this job just fine. I like these brushes, but then you guys have to remember I buy these on sale. And they put them on sale for like back to school and the holidays and things. And so I'm getting them at economic prices. So I'm going to make some blades of grass. And what I'm going to tell you, this is a great place to practice this, is I'm going to press hard when I start my blade of grass, and then as it comes up, it's going to get lighter, and it will naturally want to curve. I'm going to make sure, because I keep putting my ring in. I really like my ring, but I keep putting it in my paint. It's dangerous. So my blade of grass is thicker at the base and thinner at the top. Thicker at the base, thinner at the top. Are you guys feeling crafty?
I think there's a lot of people feeling crafty out there.
Awesome. Feeling our art, getting our art on,
Mm-hmm.
getting our creativity on.
Some of them are secretly getting their art on while at work.
Oh, see, passion. Doesn't necessarily have to be what you're doing for a living.
Thank you guys for
Thank
joining
you.
us today.
We won't tell HR if you don't.
And you know, paintings are a wonderful gift to HR if you're concerned.
You know, it's amazing what giving a painting will let you get away with.
It's
so see how those are thicker at the bottom and they come to a point? And you know what you can do if you're having trouble holding a line or keeping a line is never underestimate. I've got too many.
Wonder if she's
I'm going to move this just a second because I was doodling here earlier.
Oh no!
Like you do. Hopefully our electronics aren't destroyed. You might want to check those.
I'm going to take a moment here. I'll be right back.
Okay, you want to put me on the palette cam?
Aren't you on?
No, I'm on this one. You can put me on the palette cam. Gotta go on the palette cam because I'm going to show you a trick. If you're really struggling to get lines and you've loaded your brush and you've thinned your paint with water and you've done all the things that you need to do, go ahead and just take a scratch piece of paper and practice pushing down and lightening up and seeing how thin you can get a line with a brush, how light and how thick you can. This is a powerful thing to do, and sometimes we forget to do it. A lot of artists, they really need to warm up. And it's okay to warm up. And it's okay before you try something to see how would this work out for me, and practice with what a brush might possibly do. So if you're struggling with something, be like, that's okay, I just need some practice. And you're going to find that sometimes if you practice first, that's the thing that lets it happen for you. Practice it on the scratch paper before you put it on your canvas. I'm bringing that little blade of grass up. Hopefully you can see those really well.
That was almost a live bzz, pop moment.
That was almost a really scary moment. See, we all have mistakes.
Well, you would have been fine. It just would have been,
Yeah, that would have been the end of the broadcast, though.
No, we would have lost a camera and some lights, but...
So see, I've got that there, and then I'm going to come along the edge of my horizon line, and that's how I get those little grasses in, and they're an important part of our little story, aren't they? They tell a happy little part of our story, and I'm very fond of them, and they're a happy little part of the story. If my sky is dry, and you can tell when your acrylic paint is dry because it stops being shiny, I'm going to do a really interesting thing here. Actually, I'm going to wait on this. I'm going to start working him in. This will be fun. So I'm going to get a small filbert, but you could get a small bright or detail brush. Any brush that you feel like you've got a lot of control over what's happening. But just a small size like this. And I'm going to take a scotch, a smidge, a small amount of my purple over to my red. Just a little bit. And I'm going to add some white to it. Just a little bit of white to it. Make sure I've got nice fluidity. Fluidity means when I put the paint on my canvas, it kind of flows. Okay, now you could do him as a purple elephant. You can do him as a pink and purple elephant. It would be very hard to do him as a blue elephant because he would blend into the sky. And I'm going to paint just this bottom part of his leg right here. And inside his little squish circle, and a little bit along this belly. I'm going to come along here again and paint this bottom. And what I'm doing is creating his sort of light shading. We don't want big shading on a kawaii drawing. You want it to be pretty light. But you can put a little bit of it in there. Try not to get your green into your red. It'll gray out your color. Come along his little bum bum. Come along his cute little pink bum bum. These are technical terms you get to use in art. Are you guys all having fun?
I'm having fun. I'm just sort of spacing out watching the awesome pink elephant come in. Which I think that, in all fairness, there are some other people that currently at work doing the same thing. So
it's just a very nice, happy little pink elephant. His world is
cool.
Wonderful, isn't it? Do we not all envy his world?
I think it's pretty awesome. I can't wait.
It's a wonderful world. And you know when you're painting, what I like is that you can really make this for yourself. You know what I forgot to do? Silly Billy me.
No, what'd you forget?
And thank goodness I didn't get too far. I forgot his ears.
What?
I did.
Where?
So up here at the top, if this is the center, I'm going to come about an inch over and down, and I'm going to make my curve, a bump, and another bump, and curve in and land. And that's all it takes to make his ears.
You have to draw that in a little darker for everyone so we can kind of see that.
Yeah. See, I'm bump, 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 curve up, curve down, curve around, curve in, and stop. Make sure you've got about a ½ inch from the top. Silly Billy me. See, that's what happens is like sometimes when you're painting, you can get lost in a painting.
Yeah, and
it's okay. And I could have done that when he was all painted in. Even if I'd made a huge, huge mistake and painted him all in, it would have actually been okay.
Yeah.
So I'm coming around and painting a little shadow, just a small amount of one under his ears. All right. And one more little place I think I'd like to have some shadow is coming up on just the top part of this leg up his trunk. And a lot of this is going to get blended away when I paint it with the other pink, but that little bit of it will really help him seem more finished and impress people with what you did. And it's really important to have fun on your painting, but it's also fun to do a painting that you feel good about.
now, is it harder to control the details on the smaller, with the smaller brush and the smaller canvas and stuff?
It can be, but I find I do these smaller for the little brush lessons because the truth is art is kind of exhausting. And people can get real tired, and especially young people can get real tired during the painting.
Mm-hmm.
So if we ask them to do 16 by 20, it's not that they can't do 16 by 20, it's that they get tired.
Ah.
I'm painting a little bit right here, and then painting a little bit right here. I'm going to come into the squish circle. Squish circle is going to get painted in. Squish circle. Can we see that?
Yeah.
Seeing that pink is starting to disappear. And then all I've got to do is just start pulling out some of my white, avoiding my green. I can come in and paint this lovely inside of my ear. And I like to do some brush directionality, if you guys can see it, where I follow my lines, the curve of my lines. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that you can do that make your pieces look very, very nice. I don't have to do it. That may not be how you like to get paint on the canvas. But that's a thing you can do. And I'm going to just paint that in. And it's the little bit of pigment on my brush is getting all in my white. You can see that. Creating that color. Look at that. Super easy.
And now, as soon as you get that, I'm gonna flip over to the
what?
to the finished painting so they can see what it's
The
looking like.
finished painting. Let's do finished
so
painting.
there's that, and then that's what it's gonna look like there.
Now I went a little more purple with him, and you could go a little more purple with him if you wanted, but Honey asked me to take this one a little pinker.
Yep. And yeah.
And sometimes I listen to my daughter's requests because she very much likes this art style, this kawaii art style, and it's just one thing that we share, and I really like to be able to do that for her. But you could go in and when you mix it, you might mix it a little more purple,
Mm-hmm.
or you might mix it a little more orange. All I'm saying is probably not green or blue because it will blend into what is our background.
What about gray?
Yes, you could do a beautiful, soft, dovey gray baby elephant.
And now,
Would be super cute.
Yeah.
You could get away with yellow too.
hmm.
There's a lot you can still do to customize it. You could paint it this way with me once. These aren't so hard to paint that you couldn't try it this way. Now see, I had a little boo-boo here with my blue paint, but I just painted it right out with my white paint, with my pink paint. I didn't have to worry about my boo-boo.
Now we have a new community member with us today. A new
We do.
artist, Lulu, and she was asking. She read or saw online that with gesso that she should do both the front and back of the canvas.
I have not heard that ever.
You've not heard that, huh?
But here's the deal. Here's what it is about gesso. If you're trying to seal your canvas, you should probably be using GAC or some product like that, like what Golden has. Gesso is porous. So it doesn't actually create like a true seal. It creates a painting surface or tooth that your paint can stick to that's color neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all really gesso is a good tooth painting surface that your paint can stick to, but it doesn't prevent what's in the structure from coming through into your painting. It doesn't make it archival. It's just a good thing to know.
So it's a primer, not really a sealer or
It's
a
a
covering
primer
agent.
and in no way a sealer.
Yeah.
Now I've made a very light pink here so that this really shows up on my leg. See how those little tone differences make such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm going to come in with my black line, right? I'm going to come in with my black line at the end, which I'm going to do with the fluid paint. I found some very inexpensive fluid paint at Michael's by Artist Loft. But a craft black paint, you know, just the regular craft paints, they tend to be a little soft-bodied, and it would work too. And I'll show that when we get to the next sippy sippy.
Absolutely.
How are we all feeling about our elephant?
I think everybody's really enjoying their elephant.
They're really enjoying their elephant.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to come here, and I made a slightly darker pink so I could blend this. See. There we go. And he's just pink and adorable in there. And just look for any spots that you feel like might need a second coat of paint. Like I think up here on the trunk could use another little coat. So I'm going to put that in. And you can see how these watercolor pencils just disappear when you paint over them, and that makes them quite nice. Quite nice. And if you pick a color that matches what you're painting over it, it will disappear even better. So if I know I'm painting pink and I pick a pink pencil, I'm going to have an easier time than say if I picked a green pencil.
Now, there's been a lot of really interesting chatting about the different ways that the elephant could be done, maybe even as a baby hippo.
Yes.
But they were talking about the lions and the other animals you've done in a more realistic style.
Yeah, so what I've been wondering is I've been getting a lot of requests for giraffe.
Well, they were asking about an elephant just now.
Oh, in a realistic style.
In a realistic style.
Yeah, we could do an elephant in a more realistic style.
Actually, I think it was an elephant family in a realistic style.
You guys just like those longer art lessons. So I have him in now, and he's happy. He's what I need him to be. You know, he's very pink, so when Honey gets home from school, she's going to be like, oh, thank you, you listened to me. And I like that.
Yep.
Now we're going to sippy sippy, and then we're going to talk about rainbows.
Rainbows.
Rainbows. There's a lot of great YouTube stuff on there on how to remember a rainbow, but a rainbow has a consistent pattern, doesn't it? Because it's the way the light refracts.
Yep. Every time.
Every time. It's always the same. So the neat thing about that as an artist that you can use is if you know that pattern, you can use that pattern in unexpected ways, and people will always see it as a rainbow, which is why when I did the bubbles, John can show you.
Let's see if I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, see how that looks like a rainbow? Because I followed the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple pattern, which is, I guess, indigo violet. But that's all you've got to do. So that's how you're able to do that. So you could do hearts. You could do all kinds of things. If you want to rainbow your life, and you can just rainbow the rainbow out of every rainbow, rainbow-tacular, you just have to remember that pattern. It will always work for you. Even if it's pastel, it will still work for you. And so I'm going to take a little bit. It's going to be a little darker than my pink elephant, but it's still going to be a little bit pastel. And I'm going to go into my red with my detail brush, and I'm going to load up that brush. I'm going to make a bubble. If we can get on the up close camera, and I don't know how up close we need to be. I might want to be more up close on these bubbles, if I can do that. Okay. First bubble I'm going to do, it's going to be a smaller bubble, and I'm painting on the tip of my brush, and I'm just making a little circle, and I'm painting it in. It's a little circle. And one way that I can really, really control what's happening in my hand is I rest, my painting is dry. This doesn't work if your painting isn't dry, but my painting is dry, so I can rest my hand and steady my hand on my canvas. I'm going to come down at an angle because bubbles float, they have different weights, and they float at different heights depending on wind currents and all kinds of things. So if I want this, even though this is very cute and kawaii, I want this to be a little more like realistic, I need to make sure that I incorporate those things I know about bubbles. So this bubble is bigger because he's blowing bubbles and this bubble is bigger. Now I'm going to get a little yellow. There's my Lunabella. And we're right now, I don't know if you are, we're right now into all of the ads that are going on for Christmas toys. So that's what we're going through. Look up there. Say hi. Hi. She's like, she doesn't know where you guys are. All right. Gotta go talk to Grandma. No, I'm just kidding. So I've got this nice little orange. And I'm going to wait for John to get back on the up-close camera. So it's just finding that, there he is. Look at him, he's so good. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make, not as small as this one and not as big as this one, maybe one that's halfway between those two sizes.
This is the only part where you need to be left-handed.
I know. How's this? Is that helping?
Yeah.
So it's halfway between those two sizes. And I'm going to come up here and do a little one. A little teeny tiny one. Teeny tiny. And then it should have a little friend because bubbles shouldn't travel alone. That's a little bigger. See? Now I'm going to imagine there's a wind current starting to push these down. I'm going to rinse out my brush a little bit. And I'm going to very carefully get some white, bring my yellow over to it, and make a nice pastel yellow. And this can be the hard part of getting nice white paint. Sometimes you need to put out more spots of white. If you're struggling, put out more spots of white. It's just worth it if you're having trouble keeping the colors clean. Because the rainbow does need to have clean colors.
I glanced away and I looked back and we've got like 56 people in the room.
Hi, 56 people in the room. Are you working your bubbles?
That's awesome for a Monday afternoon. Thank you guys.
It's incredible. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, this little bubble needs a little buddy.
Yes.
Bubble buddies, you're the one. Bubble buddies, so much fun.
I'm sure Content ID isn't going to nail us for that.
I'll fight that one. I think my argument is I sing too badly for you people to care. I couldn't possibly sing your song accurately enough for you to be bothered by whatever I'm doing. Oh, these nice little bubble buddies. Wouldn't SpongeBob be pleased?
Everyone's pretty impressed at how you're doing your painting with that big old ring hanging off the end of your hand. It's in the paint every once in a while, so.
Only one time. Only one time. Now I've adjusted.
Uh-huh.
Now I have adjusted.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make some more of that bright green that I had earlier. But I'm going to pastel it up a little darker than the grass below. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
A little darker, but still pastel. And drop some more wind currents. My dad he's been a hang glider my entire life. Which is, if you don't know what a hang glider is, that's basically a big giant human-sized kite that people jump off high things with. No way stressful.
Yeah,
So I have a weird amount of turbulence information in my brain
mm-hmm.
for somebody that is super afraid of heights. So when I'm painting these, I do use a little bit of my turbulence information when I'm trying to decide how I'm going to paint them. That one got a little light on me, so I got to darken it back up because it'll mess with my... Now I'm going to get into my blue. And I might even let one happen that's sort of a mix of two of these colors to sort of say that there's a color change happening. Does that make sense, John?
It does.
It does. Uh-oh, I don't have enough fluidity. And if you find you're like, I'm really working for this bubble, that's what happened to you. Didn't have enough moisture on your brush.
What sort of what is fluidity? What sort of
Fluidity is how ink-like, how nicely the paint flows off your brush onto the canvas. And that is about the water mixture, the moisture mixture to the paint, which can either be put in by the paint company themselves, right? Or you can create, as I'm doing here, by just adding water to my paint.
So how do you know when you're there?
Now I look at it and I notice it's kind of like an olive oil consistency, but what you'll find is that it flows very nicely when you paint with it. It just exits the brush's bristles onto the canvas and covers, and there's not a lot of white spots showing through, and it feels as if it's flowing.
Paint wicks off the brush nicely.
Paint comes right off the brush very nicely. It would be a good indication. You know, and sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want dry brushing.
It's true.
So
I've seen you do that too.
Yeah. It all works.
And then sometimes you like get it really watery and wash it.
And then you do a wash.
See, I've paid attention. Kind of.
Pay such good attention. Are you guys, is everyone out in TV land paying attention?
Oh my gosh, they're just, I mean, like they're everywhere. Yes, people.
See, we're all going to have gorgeous elephants. I really want to see some beautiful elephants from everybody. I'm going to come over and get into my purple.
We have some people excitedly waiting to go home tonight and paint, or paint with their young ones.
Oh, you guys are going to love this together. And the thing is keep kids from panicking, because they panic. They have so much information at school telling them things have a right and wrong position that they carry like crazy levels of anxiety. Like my daughter goes through tremendous anxiety over stuff that is just not really life important. But it's important to the school, and it's important to what they have going on, and she takes that on, and your kid may take that on. And you'll see that sometimes present in art. Well, they'll start to freak out because they have this beautiful, vibrant, well-developed imagination, right? Because we haven't like learned to crush it, destroy it by life. So it's still very active, it's still very healthy, and so they can see what they want, but the brain, hand, body connection hasn't worked in yet, and they fall short, and they get angry, and that's normal. Just get them to breathe through it and help them embrace that it's not about doing it perfectly, it's about doing it. I know that can be really hard. I have really dealt, every time I do anything with kids, I spend as much time dealing with anxiety and helping them through, and I mean like right down to hysterically crying. Don't feel like it's just your kid. A lot of them really will go through tremendous anxiety, and if you can get them through that fear. And I might be speaking to a grown-up right now who's like, I don't know about a kid. I feel like that when I'm painting. It's normal.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on emotionally. I've got this little bubble. I took it halfway off the canvas.
Ooh.
Because you know what happens when I take things off the canvas?
It's now gallery wrapped?
No. This is not a gallery wrapped canvas.
I know.
It implies that there's a world we don't see. This is our window. We don't see what's going on, but it says there's more to the world. That's world building. Ha ha ha. You're like, I don't know what the ha 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 is for. Sippy chemicals. Sippy. Chemicals.
So
this is exactly what I feel like drinking strawberry Hello Kitty would taste like.
Probably. Robin was just sharing that she has extreme anxiety and finds that painting makes her feel better.
Yeah. And it really can.
Yeah.
It really can help deal with stress and anxiety, illness. It's a powerful tool. So I'm going to start my pattern again, which is the red. Right? It's on my brush. And it's going to be just a slightly different color than my elephant.
We're going to have to adjust the close-up camera there.
I'm going to move my close-up camera down to my puddle.
Perfect.
And I'm going to come here, and I need to make sure that this is just different than my elephant, because when I did him initially, like I did the purple, and then Honey was like, I don't like the purple. I like pink. And I was like, well, in the end, I started this kawaii journey for Honey. I love Japanese design, though, so I've always been into anime. John's always been into anime. That's a long time thing for us. So I've got this nice little kind of pastel-y red. A little darker than my elephant happening here. And I'm just painting. This is really fun to learn that you can make rainbows and they don't have to arch. That's a very fun feeling when you discover that you can make rainbows and they don't have to arch. And then I'm going to get some orange. Orange stripe. I need an orange stripe. And it just starts to happen. It just starts to happen. And so then you realize that this little elephant was sitting in this fabulously magical rainbow puddle and picked up a little of this rainbow water with his trunk or her trunk and blew it out. I know a lot of people are doing this painting for nurseries.
This would be awesome in a nursery.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we always had awesome nurseries because we did not rely on the product at the store in our house.
Yep, it's true.
I customized everything. John customized everything. And so we always had like nurse people like, where'd you get all that stuff? We made it. We DIY'd that whole thing. Right now in Honey's room, that's all custom.
Mm-hmm.
Honey's room right now, all custom. It's she wanted pink and zebra.
Oh yeah.
So we redid her room all pink and zebra, and we went and got resale furniture and custom painted that and added knobs and painted her walls and glittered her ceiling. And this art stuff on this canvas doesn't have to live here. It can go other places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
I
interesting.
think actually Lindsay just did a thing on doing a room.
Yeah, Lindsay actually just she just added a very good comment here.
What'd she say?
She had said that you could start the rainbow puddle with orange, but keep the pattern going out if you needed more contrast than red and pink.
It's absolutely true. You could. You could absolutely start this out on a different. She's rocking that rainbow truth right there.
That's true.
She's rocking it because Lindsay gets rainbows. Lindsay understands how important the rainbow is.
Well,
because I mean, artists love them a rainbow. Let's be really honest. I have a story I will tell more on a nighttime lesson about my mom Ginger in Philadelphia and her feelings on the rainbow.
okay.
Because she just loves shopping there. She's like, everywhere I go, everything is rainbow.
It is.
She's like, it's like a whole city made for me.
Yep.
She just bought everything rainbow she could, and she was like draped in rainbow in Philadelphia.
That's good. I do that sometimes when I'm at San Francisco. So.
Yep. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And she did get some of the coolest rainbow stuff ever, though.
Yeah.
Straight up credit. Was pretty awesome. You gotta love it.
Gotta love
my mom. But yeah, Lindsay did just do a whole really cool video on doing kids' room, and so take this creativity away from the canvas and put it other places. Angela Maxwell, if you guys know her, she painted outdoor furniture with some of the designs from Heart Party.
Oh, nice.
Right, and we had Nyla, who was a little brush that painted with us, and she would paint on other things besides the canvas and make really unexpected things. This can be anywhere.
We kind of have a problem of painting on the walls of our house.
Yeah.
Consistently.
You mean that I mural things?
Yes, like every house we've ever owned, like.
I don't know how that's a problem.
Oh,
I've just muraled everything.
Sometimes
it's a wall, and I owns it.
We've had some interesting murals, though.
We've had some interesting murals, but I mean that's really see, I grabbed a little yellow, and where the paint is wet, I'm letting the yellow and green blend a little bit to soften that water line. That's how I'm doing that. And that's a thing that you can practice, is softening those lines. That works. People don't know that works, but that works.
Does it?
It does. thought you liked all the murals.
I love him.
Okay, what problem? We own the walls. And I'm kind of I've mixed some of that blue into the green. And I'm running a little run of that because it's just fun and relaxing for me to do this. Sometimes, by the way, guys, don't stress out if your kids want to go through this faster than me. If they're like, got it, rainbow, puddle, got it, check. And it's in, and they're done, and they do the painting in 15 minutes, and this lesson is still 45 minutes long. Kids are like that, and it's okay. If they can slow down, they will. Sometimes they can't. It's all right. It's not important. They'll get what they need out of it. Taught a lot of kids, and there's not a set kid speed for art.
No.
No. There's not really a set grown-up speed for art. Your speed is your speed.
We have some hummingbird lovers amongst us today.
I love hummingbirds.
Lou clearly loves hummingbirds, though. And was asking about hummingbirds and seeing that would be a really cool rainbow thing to see. Rainbow hummingbirds.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I agree. I totally agree. I'm just right now kind of I know everyone's with me and I'm teaching a class, but I'm kind of just enjoying my own rainbow moment here.
I think your rainbow looks pretty sharp.
I'm just having fun with it. I mean, the thing is, like, sometimes this is just fun for me.
You nailed some cool blue there. That's awesome. I like that blue.
That's what I love phthalo for, and why I am not as big of a fan all the time of ultramarine, because I can always gray out my phthalo. I can always tell my phthalo to knock it off and sit down. Be a good, well-behaved blue with a little bit of burnt sienna or cat orange. But, but when I want it to be there for me in this way, like it is right now with this incredible color, it just shows up. It just shows up and gives love.
I have to say,
I know that's a weird way to feel about paint, but I feel like phthalo blue gives love.
I'm a convert. Ultramarine blue is my favorite color.
Yes, it was.
And now it's phthalo blue and yellow ochre.
Yeah. Oh, yellow ochre is in our DNA as a species.
It's like
it really is. We have a history with our yellow ochre.
I like it.
It has been with us since we were running around outside, living in caves, doing stuff. We love us some yellow ochre. And I will see people respond to yellow ochre and just know that that's what it is. It was our first crayon. When I look at yellow ochre or sienna or umber, I think these were our first crayons.
Yeah.
And we will always be fond of them. Always be super fond of our very first crayons.
The little rainbow puddle. That's cute.
Yeah. Just a little rainbow puddle. We'll come back with some white highlights and some things. Now, in kawaii art, it used to be in art out of Japan, the big eye. Right? With the super, triple, and quadruple reflection.
Oh, yeah. My eye is so watery, it has 10,000 points of light.
Yeah, it's like, how many points of light can I put in this eye? And that was sort of like the design style. So I just went and grabbed a slightly more poppy purple, just for this little tip of this puddle, just because it pleases me. Right. There we go. Little rainbowy little It's so rainbowy. It's like it's sitting on a rainbow. Sitting on a rainbow. So this is my new little thing. Now you can just do craft paint, because again, it tends to be soft-bodied. But I just found these are Art of Sloth fluid paints. And, Liquitex makes a soft-bodied paint, and Golden makes a soft-bodied paint, but they really like a lot of money for their soft-bodied paint. And for something like this, it is not necessarily spend $13 for a bottle. This is like a dollar.
Yeah.
So...
Actually, Lindsay's with me on the yellow ochre, though.
Is she?
Yeah. She thinks it makes everything look better.
Yeah.
I say that and I go back, probably. She's like, I hate yellow ochre. Misquoted, wrong one.
No.
No, it was her.
You're so funny. So I want to show everybody a little trick with lines. because I get asked this question a lot about how do I get a nice line. So lines are about whether you're doing trees or you're outlining something, or you can do me for a second, and we'll go back to paper.
Okay.
So I just want to have an earnest moment with you. I want you to feel me with you in the room. So what this is about is how hard are you pressing on the brush, right?
Okay.
If I'm pressing, well, now I'm just showing everything but what I'm trying to show.
I don't know where you're at.
I cannot orient. There I am. If I'm pressing,
go the opposite. Go the opposite direction you think you should go, and it'll work. See?
Okay. This is almost comical. If I'm pressing very hard, the brush tends to flay out. There we go. But if I go very light, it stays just on this tip. See, hard, that would be thicker. But light is just these soft little hairs. And that is what the lines are about. Now, if your paint is very dry, it's not going to exit the brush easily. It's not going to wick out onto the canvas, which is why it's nice sometimes to start with a soft body or fluid paint or an ink when you're trying to get a very fine line in black. But you can also just thin with water. Acrylic paint takes 30 to 40% water before it breaks down. The paint companies will usually tell you where their thresholds are, and they do a bunch of chemistry to figure that out. They'll generally err on the side of caution, and I found you can usually push them past where they say they're willing to go. I'm going to not make the joke I was about to make. So the thing is that I load up my brush, and let's see if I can catch the load. I think I'm too zoomed in is what it is. That's what it is. I'm too zoomed in.
There you go.
Okay. So I've got this brush here. And you can see that I've wicked it in, but it's about halfway up the bristles. It's not all the way into the ferrule here. I'm going to come over to my thing and practice some lines. Now, one way I can get a very nice line is to make a steady line with very soft pressure. That's one kind of line that I can make. And if I'm very good at my lines, I can do that. And the other type of lining that I can do in art is a chiaroscuro lining where I'm thicker and thinner and thicker and thinner. And these are dynamic lines. And in graphic novels, you will see artists work this thick and thin line like masters. It's incredible. On this project, because many of us are new liners, we're going to do something called an implied line, which means I don't try to draw the whole line. I do a very thin line that breaks, like that. Can we see the difference of those three kinds of lines? And the reason I do that is that fine line is more forgiving if you're very new to the line. And it will make it seem like your lining is finer than it might be.
Now, when you were talking about your percentage of paint or percentage of water in there, you're talking about about how much water it's got and about how your fluidity there.
Yeah.
So okay. Making sure.
Yeah, acrylic paint is designed to take. It has polymers in it, and those polymers have a threshold of water that can be added to them before they break down. And breakdown means that when they dry, they don't completely bond and adhere to the canvas the way that they need to, and you can get lift up when you paint over them.
That makes sense.
So that's all they're talking about, is like how much nonsense you can do to their paint before their paint stops performing. So let's see if I feel like I've got this kind of up. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the kawaii eye.
I'll come over and adjust that in there for you.
Okay. We're going to do the kawaii eye, which is super simple. This is just two little almond dots. They're small, that are near each other on our little elephant. We're not going to do any of the kawaii smiles or mouths because his trunk would be that. And this new eye, these little dots are the new style. You'll see them on pushins and other little emoticons that you can use that are out there and are in the world that are popular. Now I'm going to come around the top of this. I'm resting my wrist on my dry canvas, and I'm making as light of a line as I can, and I'm letting it dash and skip. But yet my eye is going to say that it's nice and solid. And then I'm going to take a line down and a little bump and a line down. And that kind of says that's where my trunk is wrinkling. That's a little cartooning trick to say something is bent or wrinkled. Can you see around my hand right here, John?
No, well, from the top camera we can. So
just adjust this where we can see it on both. Because I'm going to go over the nose and through the bubbles.
Okay.
And I will, just for the purposes of this, I'm going to switch my friend's owl to my other hand. Because I want you guys to see as much of what I'm doing as you can. So I'm resting my wrist, I'm coming down. If I have to break the line, I don't worry about it. By using this broken line technique, if my hand is not perfectly steady yet, if my hand is not perfectly trained, this allows me to create an intentional result, which will always strangely look better than one where we accidentally just struggle. But you can, of course, if you're like, look, I got to have a steady, unbroken line or I'm going to have a heart attack, you can always do that. You can always do that. And the same thing is going to happen on my bubbles. I'm going to come, I'm going to go around my little bubble. Now, could you do a pen with this? Could you do a fine line Sharpie? You know, if you're not expecting this to be archival, if you're not trying to create art that lasts forever, there are all kinds of ink brushes and pens that will go over acrylic paint that will work for the purposes of artwork that doesn't have to last until the end of time.
And if you did want it to be archival, are there pens that you could even make that could go over this? And
yeah,
okay?
and you know what? I'm even going to guess that on Lindsay's channel there's probably 10 or 12 reviews of said pens.
Yeah.
Because she reviews a lot of products. The crafters, the multimedia artists, I'll tell you what, one of the things I've walked away from YouTube in awe of is they have a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
These creative people. They have a lot of resources. They're like the alchemists of the art world. They got jars and pots and vials and glitter pots, and it's just incredible what they've got going on there. And they're all the time getting new products that are designed for them because they do art journaling and really all kinds of very creative out-of-the-box projects. And so sometimes I might not see a product because I go to like the fine art store that's out there that's amazing because it might not be carried at the store where I shop. And I'm now going to start going into some multimedia and craft stores. And I have started watching some videos of my fellow crafters because I find it inspiring to see that there's this whole line of products in the world I've never even heard of. Pretty cool stuff. You can get really stuck in your ways and finding like this one way to get things done, and then somebody will come along and say, wait. I find when I'm doing lining, it's important to rinse out your brush every once in a while because the paint can start to dry into the bristles and you'll start to lose your control in your point.
Now,
and you may need to reload.
One of our audience members was asking, do you feel that hue has more pop or less pop than the standard CAD paints?
Yes, I'm sure it does.
CAD has more pop?
CAD has more pop. Now, not everybody can see the pop. That's just the honest truth. I can see the pop, and I'm like, oh, that paint, that's CAD. And I can even tell when it's a higher grade of CAD. But the truth is, in my experience, we don't all see color the same.
Mm-hmm.
Science seems to back that up. We don't all see color the same. So I do things that please my eyes, but are maybe not really that relevant to the world at large. Though even Bob thought CAD was pretty important. Just saying. He was some cadmium yellow fellow, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he knew titanium white matter. It's just, it really is. There is a pigment load. There's a visual joy in your eye. And it's fun. It's not going to make or break a painting.
So Kim was saying that it's that she seemed to recall that she was told to never use water when out of her paint. Just use it straight from the tube.
Well, that's so funny.
That was.
I'm sure you were. All right. In the world of art, there is a slew of people that have tremendous opinions about how how you do the paint. Like, should you paint straight from the tube? Should you mix colors? And if the science of that is really important to you, then you're going to definitely want to go to the paint company's websites, because they'll talk to you very straight force about what they think their paint can and can't do. They will have instructors that are trained in what their product does who will come to your towns and give demos. And then there's this guy, Michael Harding, and he makes an oil, and he makes an oil by hand, and he just knows everything about paint.
Yep.
So if you really want to know, no hype, no craziness, no weird nonsense, what's actually happening, those are your tools. But the truth is, art instructors will get feelings or opinions. I have them. I keep using CAD. We all have them. And of how things should be done and what's right and wrong. And sometimes as teachers, as guides, we forget that this is art, and there's a lot of ways to get the canvas finished. Like a lot, and a lot of them work. And we forget to experiment, and we forget to do things. And so, yeah, some people, I've heard that. You've got to paint straight from the tube and not mix water into it. That's not true according to the manufacturer or, you know, anyone at the chemist thing. But there's a lot of artists that feel that that's very true, and they get beautiful results. And if you're trying to duplicate their result, you may want to duplicate their path, if that makes sense. See, I've just done these little bubbles, and they just lined in really nicely.
I'm going to adjust your close-up camera there again.
Okay, you adjust my close-up camera again.
Where are we going to go next?
I think we're going to go around the elephant, and then we'll get the little bit on the puddle, and guess what? We'll be done. And that's all he is.
Wow.
Oh, we have highlights to add.
A couple little things, but yeah, we're getting close. Huh?
Actually, while we're up here on the bubbles, I'll go ahead and throw in the highlights. While you're on the bubbles.
Oh, we're on the bubbles?
Grab some, and uh-oh, I just shoveled. And see, you break your own rules all the time. I just shoveled some paint, but I'm going to get some just white paint. Loaded on my brush, pretty thick. What is this?
It likes your ring. There it goes.
Yeah, all right. So it's just on there, kind of dabbed on, and I'm going to make a little reflection. I like it. Little reflection on the upper right of the bubble. Because think about it. You've seen them floating around in Bubble Land. They all have reflections, don't they? Bubbles are round and they're super shiny. They're made out of soap. Of course they're reflective. They're made out of soap. If anything on the planet's reflective, a bubble should be. It's literally a ball of air and squeaky clean. So how awesome is that? See, just a little reflection on those bubbles. It's a nice touch, but it makes a difference, and I think it's worth doing. Yeah, that's one of the things, man. I have heard crazy things from art teachers, all kinds of things that are absolutely true. Yeah?
We're doing good.
And things that are not absolutely true. And you've got to kind of take the good advice. Craziest art teachers on the planet, I still got something good out of their class. I've never had a class or place I've gone. Kids, this is very important. Even a teacher you cannot stand has something to teach you can use later. You got this here?
Yeah, I'm going to adjust it over here. Okay.
John is adjusting the nausea cam for you. So even a teacher that you cannot stand, if you're just stuck there, there's got to be something in what they have to say that has value. Everything they say may be wild, crazy, ego nonsense, and you're sitting there going, is there no oversight committee on who's allowed to teach art in this world? And you may just be freaking out in the class, but somewhere along the way they'll say something and you're like, oh, because artists benefit artists. Oh, he's getting his camera done. Artists are beneficial to artists, even when we're out of our minds crazy. Think about it. If you're a kid and you're in school and you look over and you see how your friend is doing a picture, sometimes that unlocks to your brain how they do that picture. We influence each other. We influence each other, and we should influence each other. That's how great creativity starts to happen, is we inspire and light fires in each other, and that's okay. Coming along this little tail. I love the little tail. Come back and get a little ear. His little ear needs an outline. Little ear. right, see that coming together? So John can show you him if he was more purple. But you can customize him up to fit in your world. It's your painting. We're going to come along his little bummy. Now, because this piece is kawaii, like if I was doing a painting, I might try to actually create a shadow in this part of the rainbow, darkening these colors. But the good news is, on a kawaii piece, we don't have to do that.
Yep.
Yep. And that's very nice. So I'm going to come along and make his little leg line here. Might give him a little crease. He's got a little crease, which I guess now is called a thigh brow. Things you learn from the internet.
From the tubes.
From the intertubes. I'm like, you learn something new every day. Now, I like to put some toenails in. So I come up about 1/4 of an inch and make an arcing line down, and then make an arch that's a little smaller, and then a very small arch. And that's how I get the little thing. And then I'm going to come and do his little belly and his little foot. And I might even indicate the toes there. Yeah. And then I'm going to follow up his little upward foot because he's just so sweet. He's sitting up so cute and pretty as you please. So cute and pretty as you please. No good? Are we doing up close cam or not up close cam?
You are.
Oh, and then you switch it. Okay, I see what you're doing. I'm so grateful to have John here. He helps so much. He helps so much. John is really helpful to the result of the show. Little toenail here. You can do a little toenail here. Toenail here. Toenail here. And then the last little touch that I like to get in there on this black is I like to come down and just kind of a little bit, not the whole puddle, interestingly enough, but just some of the puddle I like to ground with a line. The line is very grounding. It flattens it. That's the cartooning, it flattens it. Though don't ever feel bad about cartooning. Michelangelo had cartooning. That's how he got the Sistine Chapel in. It was maybe a more sophisticated cartoon than this, but still technically it was one, so I will take that. All right, so we have that in, and the last little thing you can do if you want to. You can do it if you want to. Rinse, 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 rinse your brush. And the shovel, and again, this is where I break my rule about the shoveling. And you can, if you want, just put a couple of light reflections on the water if you like. You don't need to, but I like to. And that is a cutie, 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 cutie Kawaii Elephant. And you can do this in any size. And you could paint this all over a room. You could put this on furniture. You could put this on a onesie. Because guess what? They make acrylic paint for fabrics, and it all does this exact stuff on fabric. You could put this on wine glasses. Well, it wouldn't be wine glasses. Grape juice glasses for a shower.
Or the door of a room.
For the door of a room. I mean, there's just, once you see this, then you could just make a whole thing and do accents and rainbows. You could just put any little creature here, because a lot of them will draw from a round circle. We're going to keep doing kawaii projects, but I will throw a realistic elephant into the mix. And I'm kind of playing with a kawaii giraffe.
Maybe hummingbird.
Hummingbirds are now on the list.
Yeah.
And I know I've been getting a lot of panda requests. So
Panda.
stuff is coming, yes. Stuff is, everyone likes my J-Cat. Stuff's coming. I want to thank everybody for coming today.
We had such a large group here. A lot of international people.
Really?
Yeah. We had a lot of folks from Europe.
Hi, from Europe.
Yeah. I thought it was really awesome. Some of the, we have a lot of Northern European stock join us. You know, Swedish, Danish, Nordish.
Because you know what? We family.
Nordish.
I did I did my cheek swab, and I found out where all I'm from.
All up there.
Yep. Yes. Jawohl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I know.
Not far.
John and I have very similar genetic histories. It's sort of funny we found each other. We're like,
Yep.
you know, I don't know if you've ever done that cheek swab from Ancestry.com. It's a lot of fun and generally creates a whole bunch of drama in a family because somebody somewhere always lies. Sorry, it's just true. Cheek swabs,
It's
drama you don't expect. Be like Maury Povich up in your house. And I'm way off topic.
We just, that's heart party.
It's heart party. Things
But we
just
love
go,
you guys. Come and join us.
they go awry. But I appreciate you guys coming in and painting. If you're young and you're painting, please share your artwork with me. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Definitely get your mom or dad's permission. If you are a mom or dad and you want to share your own personal artwork with me, I want to see that too. If you need any help or encouragement, I make sure that I get by and I look at everything and make sure that I get by and like everything. If I don't necessarily always get to answer everything, but our community, this art community on YouTube, and I see you guys all around everywhere, so I know you're like an incredible club of light bringers and light keepers. They're nice. I cannot express to you, if you're new, as this video goes forward into the world, how nice the art community on YouTube is. They're incredible.
So lovely. We
So
love you
nice.
guys.
So it's a safe place to share your art. So please share it.
Yeah, share your pictures, share comments, and of course, after the show, we'll have a short QA as always.
We're having a QA today?
Of course.
QA day. But we're not going to test.
We're not gonna test. Maybe we will test. Who
We're not
knows?
going to let my daughter run up in here. I couldn't believe John did that to me. I was really so tired. All right, well, QA. We'll meet you back here for QA. I want you to be good to yourselves. I want you to be kind to yourselves. Be creative. Be imaginative. But be forgiving. It's not about perfection. I want to see you with the easel really soon.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.